everyone. Welcome back to the series Security Pathshala. In today's video, we will be looking at the mathematics for the CPA security, and also we will be looking at the various modes of operation for the same. To define the CPA security mathematically, first we will define one randomized experiment in which the pi is the fixed encryption scheme and A is an attacker and N is the security parameter. In the first step, the key K, which is of length N, is generated using the pseudo random generator, and then an attacker is allowed to communicate with the encryption oracle any number of times to get the plain text, to get the ciphertext for the chosen plain text. And at some point of time the attacker outputs the two messages m0 and m1, which are of the same length. And after that, a bit b is selected at random, and the ciphertext is obtained by encrypting the message mb using the same key, and that ciphertext is given to the attacker. Now an attacker is presented with the C to see that if an attacker identifies the underlying plaintext message correctly or not. A succeeds if B equal to B prime and the experiment evaluates to 1. Now when this scheme will be CPA secure, now pi is the CPA pi is the secure against the chosen plaintext attack if for all the probabilistic polynomial time attackers there is a negligible function epsilon such that probability that the attacker succeeds in the last experiment should be at most 1 half plus epsilon. That is, the probability that an attacker can successfully identifies the underlying message when presented with the ciphertext should not exceed 1 half plus epsilon. Now let's see if the CPA security is impossible and why we are saying so. Let's consider one example in which an attacker gets the two ciphertexts by communicating with the encryption oracle C0 and C1, and at some point of time the attacker outputs the two messages M0 and M1, and also represented with the uh, ciphertext C, also challenged with the ciphertext C. Now in order to identify the underlying plain text, what the attacker will do, attacker will just compare that C with the C naught, and if the C equal to C naught, then the underlying plain text will be M naught, else the underlying plain text will be the M1. So contradicting contradicting to the last definition of the CPA security, there exists a scheme which is providing the success to the attacker in the probability greater than half. So is it impossible to achieve that definition of the CPA security? Actually, this is happening because of the deterministic nature of the encryption scheme. That is, when any message is encrypted using the same key, the same ciphertext is obtained. So in order to achieve the definition of the CPA security, that deterministic encryption scheme should be replaced with the randomized encryption scheme. Now, to understand this randomized encryption scheme, we first understand what the pseudo-random functions are. So, let's first understand what is the random function. Now, let's consider f be the set of all functions which are mapping an n-bit input to the n-bit output. So, for counting the total number of such functions, for every n size input in one set, there will be the n size output. There will be 2 power n outputs in the another set. So the total number of functions will be 2 to the power of n into 2 to the power of n, which are doubly exponential. And random function is nothing but the function which is chosen uniformly from this set of functions. Now to achieve the pseudo randomness, it is found that the keyed function, that is the function using some bit key, are more beneficial than using the non-keyed function. So let's see what the keyed functions are. So keyed functions are basically the normal functions which take n-bit input and outputs the n-bit output, but the additional key of length n is introduced. Here f is the length preserving. That means the length of the key will be equal to the length of the input, and apparently that in length should be equal to the length of the output of the function. Now the important point here is that the choosing a uniform key from the set of all the n-bit string is exactly equivalent to choosing a function fk which is mapping an n-bit input to the n-bit output. that is doing the task of choosing the k uniformly is equivalent to choosing the fk. Now let's define the pseudorandom functions more formally. Now f is a pseudorandom function if fk, which is the keyed function which is obtained by using the uh, key k, which is uniformly obtained from the set of all keys of length n. Now that fk is indistinguishable from the uniform function f, which is chosen from set of all function. If this is the case, then f will be the pseudorandom functions. Formally defining, for all the polynomial time distinguisher, the probability that the distinguisher outputs 1 if the function is the keyed function using the k bit key, and the probability that the distinguisher outputs 1 when presented with the uniform function f, the difference between such probabilities should be very negligible, that is less than or equal to epsilon. If this is the case, then we can say that the function f is pseudorandom in nature. So let's understand this with example. Now consider the devil on the right hand side is polynomial time distinguisher, which is represented with the two worlds. In the first world, the black box is having the function which is chosen randomly from set of all functions, and in the second world, fk is put into the black box, which is the keyed function which is obtained by choosing the n bit key uniformly at random, and the distinguisher try to get provide the input and get the output. Now the f is pseudo random if for any such polynomial time distinguisher, if he can't distinguish between the f and the fk, that is the functions which are inside the box, then we can see that the function f is pseudo random in nature. Now let's define the CPA secure scheme using this randomized encryption scheme. So here the F will be the keyed function, which is the function using the key K. In the first step, the key is chosen, which is uniformly from the set of all keys of length n. And to encrypt the message of length m, a key should be of the same size. Now uh, a variable r is selected, which is a random in nature, selected from the set of all bits of length, set of all strings of length 1 n. The output ciphertext is basically consisting of the two parts, that is the r, and the second part is the xor of the plain message and the output of the pseudorandom function, which is when given the input r. And the for the decryption purpose, the ciphertext consisting of the two parts and the output, that is the m, will be generated by doing the xor operation for the c2 and the pseudorandom functions output when presented with the input c1. So this is basically the pictorial representation for the same. Here to obtain the ciphertext, a pseudorandom function is provided with the key and r, and the pseudorandom output is XORed with the message, which gives the ciphertext, which is having the two parts, that is the r and the XOR of the message and the pseudo output of the pseudorandom function. Now, the important point to notice is that till now we are discussing the fixed length messages encryption under the CPA security. But what if we want to encrypt the very long messages using the CPA security scheme? Now, going back to the main reason why the CPA security scheme is introduced is the secrecy for the encryption of the multiple messages. Now, using that same basis, we can consider one very large message as the blocks of the small blocks of the messages, so that, and when we encrypt that each block, it is just like encryption of the multiple messages using the same key. Both are analogous, and so this is also the CPA secure. Now, what is the drawback of this system? The main drawback of this system is that the ciphertext will be twice the length of the plain text. That is, the two parts that we have seen, both are of same length in the ciphertext. That results into the uh, large size of the ciphertext. Now, in order to reduce the size of the ciphertext, we can operate the CPA secure scheme under the different modes. Let's see those different modes. The first mode is a counter mode. In this mode, at the first step, the counter is selected at random, which is n bit in length, and it is set as the C naught, which is the dummy ciphertext block. Then for all the actual blocks of the plain text, uh, the ciphertext is obtained by just XORing the plain text of that block and the output of the pseudo random function, which is when given the input, which is equal to CTR plus I. In this way, the ciphertext is obtained for all the blocks. Here, one important thing to notice is that the ciphertext expansion is just one block. That is, we are using just a one uh, extra block for the ciphertext formation. This is just a pictorial representation for the same. In this, the first counter is used, which is the C naught, and for the next blocks, the CTR plus I is given to the pseudorandom function, and the output is XORed with the corresponding block's plain text, and the corresponding ciphertext is generated for that block. Now the next mode is the cipher blockchaining mode. In this mode, again the C naught is chosen at random, which is also called as a initialization vector. And in this scheme, the cipher text for the current block is obtained by the output of the pseudo random function, which is when given the input, which is the XOR of the cipher text of the previous blocks and the plain text of the current block. In this way, the outputs for all the blocks is obtained. The one requirement for this scheme is that the function app should be invertible. Here also the ciphertext expansion is just one block. That is, we need only one extra block for the formation of the ciphertext. This is the pictorial representation for the CBC mode. Here the initialization vector is first chosen, and then for finding the ciphertext for the current block, the output of the previous output of the, that is the ciphertext output for the previous block, is XORed with the plain text of the current block, and it is given to the pseudorandom function, and that output will be the ciphertext for the current block. So this is all about the CPA security. In the coming videos, we will see one more security scheme, that is the CCA security. Thank you.